Hello everybody and welcome back to Noia Dev, the series that aims to prove that one developer can create a successful MMO RPG. My name is Dane and this week on Noia Dev we're talking about art changes and the new forest map. First off, I owe you guys an apology. I have committed a grave sin in the eyes of the artistic community. I have used mixels. I know, unforgivable. I have knowingly mixed resolutions for art in Noia. Truly a heinous crime. But in my defense, I am an idiot. So, in hindsight, this blunder is something that could have easily been expected. Now that I have been made painfully aware of my transgressions against those with working eyes, I have to fix this. Actually, it's already fixed. Mao fixed it. Mao is an accomplished artist with many years of experience in different styles, color theories, children's books, and he also does tattoos. After he initially offered the different look for the queen, I reached back out to him to see if he could help me create what I'm calling a design doc for the art in Noia. This will outline and create guidelines to follow when creating art for Noia. First thing that we needed to nail down is the resolutions. The world tiles and small creatures for Noia are 16 by 16 pixels in size, so this gave us a good base to start with. Building off of that, the player will now be 24 by 24, and the larger creatures and bosses can be 48 by 48. The original player model fit inside a 24 by 24 box, but it didn't really make use of all the space. So this is the new player sprite. While only slightly larger, the added pixel real estate here will give me a chance to make slightly more detailed armor and clothing for all of you. The next problem was colors. Clockwork Raven, the artist for the world tile sets, uses a set color palette to create the tile sets called Resurrect 64. These colors are all selected to be compatible with each other. No one color is too saturated that it would stand out above all the others. The problem is I took the original forest tile set and changed numerous colors in it. Mao and I noticed that the Resurrect 64 color palette was very orange heavy. The original forest tile set looked like a never-ending sunset. We searched for the better half of a week or so for a color palette that would best suit Noia's needs, and eventually settled on our own version of the Resurrect 64 color palette. Mao expanded the color palette from 64 colors to around 80. Now the underworld was left largely unchanged. The crystal colors are now a bit more vibrant, but that's about it. The forest, however, saw many changes. All of the trees' greens and reds blend more smoothly with each other, and the dirt now looks like dirt and not sand. While I was swapping in the new map colors, I couldn't shake the feeling that these colors all seem kind of muted and dull. The colors all fit well and made sense, but it just felt like there was a fog over everything. Now, I'm not an artist, but I do know a bit about color theory, and that is, if you affect every color in the palette in the exact same way, the resulting new colors should still play nice with each other. I remember that there was a way for Unity to affect all the colors in the palette at the same time, with post-processing, or post-FX for short. I use post-FX for a few different things in Noia already. For example, whenever the player enters a dungeon, there's this slight red tinge to the border of the screen. Another example is there's a tiny little bit of bloom, and that gives a tiny bit of softness to everything. And to fix my color problem, I can bump up the contrast just a bit. With this, all the colors pop again, just like they had before the palette swapping. Only now the change is consistent across all tile sets and all maps. Even the underworld, the colors pop a bit more. With the resolution set, a solid color palette, and a solid color palette to work with, Mao got to work on revising the underworld enemies that didn't fit the new scale, namely the skeletons. These skeletons came from opengameart.org and are 16 by 16. I had doubled their scale and then just threw them into the game. Now we will have properly scaled enemies moving forward. Once I have all of the full sprite sheets, I will be updating all of the enemies in the underworld. I also needed to update the player model to its larger version, and with that, update the existing attack animations to take the expanded player model into account. And then I will be able to get to work adding monsters and quests to the forest map. Speaking of the forest map, I do have a rough outline of the main story questline that will take place in the forest. I have it all laid out in the spoilers section of the Noia Discord. If you want to have insider info on quests and lore for Noia, you should join the Discord, link down in the description. Without spoiling anything, the player will come across these creatures in the forest clearing, Fairies and Sprites. The player will need to enlist the aid of these two Fae races in order to infiltrate the giant beehive in the center of the map and find out why all the bees are being so aggressive lately. There's a bit of a problem though. The fairies are only active during the day and turn into flowers at night, while the sprites are only active at night and become mushrooms during the day. Since neither race ever sees the day change to night or vice versa, the concept of a day-night cycle is completely foreign to them, and neither race knows that the other exists. This is a bit problematic as both races live in the exact same spot. They can't help but accidentally get in each other's way without even being aware of one another's existence. What sort of shenanigans will the player have to go through to help these Fae creatures? I have a few ideas already, but I would love to hear what sort of mischievous hijinks you think these tiny forest dwellers might get up to down in the comments. I think one of the first things the player is going to have to do is convince each side that the other even exists, so that way they can stop messing with each other accidentally and focus on helping the player complete their task. But we'll see if I get that right. And that's it for this week. I am super excited to have this new color palette and resolution and art style created for Noia going forward so that everything looks more uniform and like it actually belongs in the world. You guys should definitely go check out Mao and his website for all the great work he's doing for Noia. I gotta get back to work, but hey, if you like what you're seeing here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help grow the community, and no one wants to play in a game with nobody else to play with. So, I'll see you next time. Thanks.